This is live, true story. I have been working at DCM at that time. I've known Shiv Nadar. Think of the following points. Please take those down. These lessons I cannot teach you. You learn from the people who have been battle tested. Number one, 6 people leaving DCM. Value of losing great people. Clear? Clear, sir? They lost 6 people. These people built, you know what I'm talking. Right people in the right job. So is not losing the potential great people. You got to make the judgment. They built something. Second item. They did not go to Singapore. Singapore came to them. Is that correct, sir? That's called attraction. Whatever they were doing, they were magnets, as Singapore coming to them. Become like that. Number 3, create the market. We talked about create consumption. Creating market. Get out of the old internal rear view mirror thinking. Did we say that yesterday? Create a market. See. And Mr. Chaudhary said at the end, look for opportunities. It's there, but you've got to look for. Guess who came next? A company called McKinsey. They knocked on the door. They're willing to do free. First client. McKinsey, even at that time, is a large global consulting firm, is it not? I believe it is. They're going to get you worldwide resources. They give you free advice. They say you come to Silicon Valley. They made one error, but it was a huge help, I believe. Become a magnet. People want to come to you. Looking for adjacencies. And look from hardware to software. Is that a minor pivot or a major pivot? It's huge. We talked about software-defined company. The value they have today is heavily dependent on the software company. And we say they did that and built that. These are lessons to learn from there. And then this beautiful phrase, we did an audacious plan. At the time, you would have never gotten the IPO listed. Courageous, imagination, guts to do that audacious plan to give us $75 million. It's not, I'm going to spend 3 months but making budgets here, negotiate with the bosses in your silos. And look at the freedom, the thinking, the guts. Imagination. They look for opportunities, how it will impact the market. Nokia eventually comes. Were you working with Shiva Kumar? Shiva Kumar?
He came later.
Yeah, he came later. And here, at the time, should I say, very large these telephone companies in the world, not a small one. And getting them to change to 9,000. There's always hierarchies. At the time, I'm working in Helsinki with the parent company. And here, you hear again, the basics separate distribution from service. Get into the basics of the business. And sir, may I say, you were inventing business models. You were changing business models.
That's what you wrote in your book also, that we sold phones as soap.
That was a big change in business model for Nokia, can I say that? You initiated, you knew the market, and you do that. And then look, the Beijing presence. The jaw dropped because you got outbid. And have the gumption to compete with Infosys and get it. And that changed the whole trajectory. There are huge lessons of real leadership. Let's ask some questions. Let's get going. Let me ask you a question. Give us some background of the 6 people that really remained together.
Well, actually, when we were leaving DCM, we offered 12 people to join.
Okay.
And finally, only 6 had the guts to leave. The other 6 must be kicking themselves for not joining. Because what they lost was phenomenal.
Of course.
And all of us came from small towns. Shiv Nadar was from Coimbatore. I was from Jabalpur. Pami Puri was from Calcutta, little bigger. Arjun was from Delhi, so he was a big town guy. Yogesh was from a small town, Nagpur. And Subhash was from Chandigarh. And we were all together in DCM, and what we really decided to do was something crazy. When I left the company, I went back to my father and mother and said, I've resigned. They were shocked, because DCM, as you know, was the 5th largest company.
Of course.
So, taking such risks those days was unknown.
Yeah.
And there was no concept of startups then.
Sure. Absolutely. Zero.
Zero. And there was no way you can get money from anybody. No VC, no angel, no nothing.
Excellent. So please take 2 minutes, talk to each other. Let's get some good questions, because questions they love to hear, okay? Take a couple of minutes. Go, please, go.
Morning, sir. You did speak about your association with Nokia, and you also, because of that collaboration between Nokia and HCL, Nokia won in the market. Post that, I think Nokia didn't do well and they had to finally exit. Can you just throw some light about what went well in the initial days and what led to Nokia exiting the market?
So we had taken them to pretty much 8,000 crores of revenue in the country. And then a change took place in the regional headquarters of Nokia. And one guy sitting in Singapore decided that, why is HCL the largest customer of Nokia? It's very risky. So he said, this is not the right way to work. And he overruled the local management. And they decided to split the country into 2 parts. One part, they will manage themselves, and the other part, we will manage. That started the decline of the brand in the country. Because suddenly, they lost a lot of great distributors that they had. It's distributors that make a distribution company happen. And when we used to have these distributors with us, we used to have quarterly meetings with them, and we used to have quarterly targets with them, and we would say, hey, you are the best guys in the world. We would bring them to, me and my wife would go to off-site, bring the top 10 distributors with their wives, and celebrate. So that's the kind of relationship we had with our distributors. Suddenly all that was gone, because Nokia just didn't have that kind of thinking. the way we had in their part of the country. So that started to slow them down. And then Samsung came in and they took away a lot of distributors. And then, of course, Nokia stopped listening to customers. They were so big. They had an operating system which was their own. They didn't have multi-SIM products in India. That time, the market had completely changed. The market had become a market of 4 large guys and 15 other small guys. And everybody was offering a free SIM. So as a result, everybody wanted a dual SIM product. Nokia didn't have it. So they messed up on distribution, they messed up on the operating system, they messed up on not having a dual SIM product. So the chairman of Nokia came to India, and I met him at a hotel, and I said, look, better wake up. If you guys don't have a double SIM product, we'll make it for you. We'll design it for you. If you don't want us to design it, we'll go and pick it up from Taiwan, bring it here, brand it Nokia, and market it in the country. Not made here syndrome. Nokia didn't agree. And as a result, market just slipped away from them.
Sir,
Please.
yes, sir.
So I'm Hari from GMR. My question is, after listening to you, you create a very entrepreneurial organization. I think, changes. First time hearing about customer options, stock option. So are you able to sustain this culture even today with the professionals? And the next gen, your own successors, like, this kind of entrepreneurial culture in the organization. How are you doing it actually? It's something, I'm very keen to know.
It's a tough act. It's not easy to do. But one of the things that we have really done is that there's a concept of different profit centers in the company. And literally each profit center has sort of a CEO. So that we've tried to maintain that entrepreneurial culture. Tougher to do, I agree, it's not easy. I wouldn't say it is exactly where it was 15 years ago. But there's one thing that's always remained in HCL, it's its DNA. And this DNA is very entrepreneurial. So we have people who were hired with that kind of thinking. So they've actually carried forward the whole legacy. But it's a tough act. It's not easy to maintain. But one thing definitely I can say is there's this DNA embodies something called passion. And that passion is very solid in HCL. And the other part of HCL, which is extremely strong and has always been, we are the best salespeople in the world. That's what we believe. We are damn good at selling. Thirdly, we have, as I said, audacious thinking. So I'll just tell one more story, if you don't mind, Dr. Ram Charan. What I want to say is that I went for before I took over as president of the company, I was asked to go and learn management because I had never learned management. I was an engineer. So I was sent off to Michigan, where C.K. Prahlad used to teach. So in the class one day, C.K. just suddenly got up and said, Ajay, tell me, what is the vision of your company? So I said, C.K., this is something, personal to us. No, tell the whole class. I'm talking 1995. When software, etc., were not known anywhere in the world about India. So I said, we want to be the largest software factory in the world. That's what our vision is. Not a murmur in the class. Nobody said anything. At the end of the class, I walked up to CK and said, CK, why did you ask me this question? It was very embarrassing. He says, I want all these guys in this room to know what India can be. So that's really what India is today.
Sir, yeah.
Go ahead.
Sir, I'm Dr. Parmeshwar. So 6 people came out of DCM and started the company. And today, this is where you are. What is that kept you together for such a long time, all 6? Because today we see a lot of startups, co-founders issues and they break out. So what is that advice to startups to keep, to be together for a long period of time?
It's not necessary at all. See, moment you go professional, the dreams for different people change. So, a lot of us were not together for more than 20 odd years. But 20 years we were together. Post that, The company became a listed company, became a professional company. It didn't matter after that. And we wanted the professionals to run the company with some of us involved. Some of us took a different view. Like one person said, I don't want to work anymore. He wanted to play golf. Fine, go ahead and play golf. So those kind of things happened. It's not that they don't happen, it'll happen in every company. And lots and lots of people will not stay together. It's not necessary. As long as you can maintain the DNA of the company and the passion in the company, and you have a very good view of creating the next level. Our next levels in all our companies have the same thinking. So as a result, successors came out. And things carried on very nicely.
Thank you, sir.
Good day.
That lady, hang on, this lady, please.
So I'm just started by hearing your story and it feels really good. I'm a sales and marketing professional and I expedite working into startups. One key problem that I see in today's world is every industry looks forward to, when startups come into the picture. So you have either startups or the global companies pitching in for a product or a service. And when you go to the companies, they look forward to a cheaper product. So when it comes to a startup, they want something, the price is a key factor. The cheapest, they look forward to you. If it is a global company, so they have a mindset. If it's a global company, anything they're ready to pay. But when it is startup, they look forward to, bring down the pricing to whatever they can and look forward to more of freebies. How do we look forward to change the mindset of the industry so that, they look forward to value the product or the service more as compared to the pricing? And hence, a lot of startups are running after more of valuations rather than sustainability or self-sustainable companies.
You asked many questions in one. Actually, if you look at this whole idea of a startup, the first thing I tell any CEO of a startup, that you got to be a damn good salesman. And so in my book, which is called Just Aspire, I have a specific chapter on entrepreneurship, and I have a specific chapter on salesmanship. And unless the CEO is a damn good salesperson, he cannot succeed. So when you are so good and you can sell better, you can actually sell at a better price. As a matter of fact, I talk about it in my book too, that one particular deal, when we were really stuck and not getting the deal in Mumbai, I actually increased the price and got the deal. So you have to have the confidence in your product. And these things, startups learn as they grow. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's not necessary just to sell on price. You have to have differentiation. If you have a differentiated product, definitely you can get a better price.
Thank you.
The gentleman there, yes.
Yeah, morning, sir, and thank you so much for the inspiring talk. My question was more from the perspective of, the thought, the idea which you spoke about, creating a market. So in the perspective of need and substitutes available, and let me just tell you, maybe elaborate a little bit on the challenge which we are facing. We are from Godrej, and we are actually creating a category for home safes. We have 75% market share, so competition is not a challenge. The competition is from the substitutes, because if you see, people hide their jewelry or cash in their houses. Now they can really afford to postpone the buying decision to buy a safe, because everybody needs a safe at home, but they will hide it under the mattress, they'll hide it in the fridge, cupboard, anywhere. So the challenge right now which we are facing is how do we really create that need and call to action. So I'm basically coming more from a specific problem which we are facing today. It's not about the market side of it in terms of competition. It is more from the substitutes.
So actually you're talking about behavior change. And behavior change takes time. It's not something that you can do overnight. But I think you should focus on a behavior change campaign. Think of people and tell them why they need a safe. And if they don't have one, what happens to them? All their savings are lost. Everything is lost when a burglary takes place. So you will have to create that piece of the market which is 25%, which is away from you. And how do you get from 75 to 90? But don't be so greedy also, you've got 75.
So it is more about creating or increasing the market. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Good day.
Wonderful. Yeah, the gentleman here. Yes, please.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your inspirational story. You spoke about different profit centers in the company after it became established company, right? You had these different divisions. I'm sure everyone had their own targets to meet and own priorities to work on. But when you come across situations where you need to go to a customer with a bundled solution or integrate offerings, how do you manage the different stakeholders so that they look at the final objective more than individual priorities?
Superb question. This happened in our company many, many times. Every different part of the company would sometimes compete with the other. It doesn't matter. Let them compete. Because when you have overlaps, you get better business. Okay? So that's part one. Part two, we created something called HCL1. And we got these people together and said, for this particular customer, this person is the only account manager. And whatever has to be sold by only him or her. And all other products, targets were also given to them. So that's the way you try and do. It's tough. It's not easy. But yes, you can try and do it at the best possible way. It's all a question of how you incent people. Incenting is very important. So what we did in our profit centers was that everyone in the company, down to the clerk in the company, had a piece of the profit. Combined. So accounts department had a profit piece that they could get every year at the end of the year. That's how we actually make everybody believe in the targets of that particular company or that particular profit center.
Morning, Ajay sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, morning, Ajay sir. So I was part of PCL, so I've really seen the journey, competed with you in a big way in that sense. So just want to know, the way you created market, you also created a lot of copycat competition in that sense, right? How did you manage that? And these were aggressive copycats, and I happened to be one of them. Thank you.
You guys made life difficult for us. But we knew one thing, and that's how we actually literally killed PCL. You know that. How did we do that? You were so damn aggressive. You had a price point which was quite amazing. We could never match your price point. And you were going to every customer in the country and taking 100% advance for the product that you were selling. But we clearly found a crack in your strategy. That crack was that you were not delivering immediately. You were sitting on that money, and your management was actually using that money to create a new software business. So we saw that, and we said, okay, this is the place to crack. So the first thing that we decided to do is that we will have the same price as you or lower, and we will deliver product X stock. Now that changed the game completely. When I talked to my purchase people, when I talked to my supply chain guys, they said this price is not possible. It's not possible. So we told them that, look, we are going to launch the product at this price, you make the price happen. Typical HCL thinking, audacious. So each of them were given a target for every component cost to be reduced. And we managed to do that. We launched the product at that price without having the costing done. Because we wanted to get you, number one. Number two that we did was that, I had a meeting with Microsoft. The whole team came to the office, and this kind of meeting that I've never had before. I gave them a price of the operating system. And I said, if you don't give me the price, I'll get an alternative. So when this meeting was over, my purchase guy said, how can you be so aggressive with a company like Microsoft? I said, no. If you ask, you get. You don't ask, you don't get. And we got it. So that's how we actually created that product at that particular price. And we found the crack. And we actually started delivering. And you guys couldn't deliver. Because you'd actually siphoned off the money to start a software company.
So I have one question.
Just a second.
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
myself...
Just a second, please. Yeah, go ahead, lady.
Very good morning, and thank you for the enlightening speech. Now, as the data says, more than 80% of the businesses in India are family-owned. So as I was hearing you, or listening to you, you mentioned that you left the job, and then when you informed your parents, I'm sure it was not warmly welcomed in the family. So when we are working in family business, there are I don't see there is a lack of audacity or imagination or courage. But when it comes to convincing a family, which is your board, what would be your advice to do it in a better way so the exponential growth happens?
I really can't answer that because I've not been part of that situation. But I think one key thing that you may want to look at is something like shared vision. And if you can convince all the family members with a shared vision, probably that may solve the problem to some extent. I can't say 100%. And I think if everybody is looking at a goal which is common, which is to be number one in this and number two in this and number three in this, then divide the work among various members and say, you take that business, be number one there, you be number two here, you be number three here. But at the end of the day, all three of us will make money for the family. And I think that's how we'll be successful. I really can't answer that well. Maybe you can answer that better than me.
No, I'll do that at the coffee break. Aapka time bada precious hai.
Good morning, sir, and thank you for a very inspiring session. So I come from the HR background, and just my question is, you said that in the team, every next layer was prepared and was the similar adventurous mindset. I'm very keen to know, how did you do that? As in company, how was this done?
Well, actually, that's done by leadership. How do you lead? What do you do? And how do you create people who think the same way? And what I used to do is that in my company, I used to have a concept like what Karan Johar did, coffee with Karan. So there was a concept in my company called Coffee with Ajay. And I would walk into every department of the company once a month, different departments. And I would go and sit with 30, 40 people and talk about it. And tell them how to be successful. How accounts department is important. How HR department is important. And what they need to achieve in terms of what the company wants. One of the things that we taught every department was business. Every HR guy was a businessman. You are not just an HR person. You needed to understand the business brilliantly. If you didn't understand the business, how will you hire people? How will you motivate people, etc., etc. And you know, most large companies have this concept that HR will take all the decisions. Sorry, HR doesn't take decisions. The boss takes the decision. People leave people. People don't leave because HR is bad. People leave because the manager is bad. Those are the kind of things that you need to imbibe very early days, and that's what helps. And one of the things that I did in my company, and I talk about it in my book, it's called People Tree. It's about HR practices. And what I used to do was that every new year, I would meet every person in the company and shake hands. Every person. So 10,000 people I would go around meeting. Sorry, 3,000 people in Noida. I would walk up and meet them, janitor upwards, and wish them Happy New Year. And you know, if in a particular period when I was not feeling that good, I'm not feeling well, I got calls from that department, why haven't you come? So, these are kind of cultural things that you create. And culture is much deeper. So that's really what I don't believe that HR alone can create that culture. The managers have to create that culture with the help of HR. A lot of organizations make this mistake. HR will take the decision. Sorry, HR doesn't take the decision. The manager takes the decision.
So, sir, one little off-beat question. You were talking about the changes which happened in mobile industry as the dual SIM and so many things happened. I happened to be the part of that industry that time. Do you think it is a missed opportunity for HCL when Nokia was not moving to dual SIM cards? HCL being the, making computers and hardware and everything, could have got onto the supply chain, created its own brand and become one of the bigger mobile brands in India, like Micromax, Carbon and Lava became. So is that a missed opportunity for you as you think for HCL?
Most probably, yes. But somehow we have this issue with the allegiance. Somehow we have this issue with a relationship. We had such a strong relationship with Nokia that we really didn't want to do it. And we definitely lost an opportunity. But then we got some other opportunity. So, when I used to go to Finland, we were the largest customer in the world. I mean, I get off my aircraft, they would take my passport, go and sit in a VIP room, and then suddenly all my baggage will arrive, customs will be cleared, and I would go straight into the limousine and be taken to the chairman's office. That's the kind of attention we used to get from Nokia.
I agree, sir.
And then when they were not doing well, I mean, how can we really walk out?
Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Myself, Sachin Shivapur. I work in the business of automotive electronics. I supply electronics to vehicles. In India, I face a challenge that all tier 1s and OEMs want to buy from China. They are at the mercy of Chinese suppliers. So I have an uphill task to compete with China on the BOM cost. And usually all the discussions come down to BOM cost. The final decision is made on BOM, though I try to sell value, okay, in the context of India OEMs, the automotive. Most of the major OEMs who have launched famous cars in India today, they buy the French electronics, assembled in China, and still the R&D is not happening in India. But that's not my problem statement. My problem statement is how do you compete on BOM? Most importantly, how do I compete with China being in India? The second question which I had also to both of you, you said the differentiation will happen only in software. But I believe, because since you talked about microcontrollers for a bit, I spent my entire career on microcontrollers. The differentiation, I believe, is also on hardware. That's how NVIDIA differentiated. That's how Apple differentiates on the hardware. I believe there's a hardware element to it. Is it that there's no differentiation in hardware? That's the second question I have, yeah.
I'll answer the second question first. Of course there can be differentiation in hardware. Many things are possible. And that's something that you should try and do. Because today you have an opportunity to add software to hardware. You have the opportunity to add AI to hardware. So there are many things that are possible today which were not possible maybe 10 years ago. And I think differentiation is the only way you'll survive. And the second thing is that, yes, you try and sell value, but the price of the Chinese product is something that will give you trouble all the time. And this is something that you need to appeal to your buyers, that look, think in terms of supporting Indian companies too. I think this whole thing needs to be a campaign, which not only you should run, but a whole bunch of you should join together to run this campaign with the automotive companies. It's going to be a tough act, it's not easy, but that's something that you can do. We did something crazy in HCL once. You know, we were in the same situation of competing with the global brands. So we created a concept which we called Mind India. And we basically created a brand called Mind India. What did we do with that brand? We went out to all our customers and told them that the Indian mind is the best in the world. So we would have meetings all over the country, different offices. We would call the top scientists, top researchers, top advertising companies, top people of this country. And we would get them to talk how the Indian mind is amazing and the best in the world. And then we would have all our products around, and we would not talk about our product. We would say the Indian mind is great. When the meeting would close and people walk out, they would always say, this company is amazing. They never sold a product, but they told us buy Indian in a very different way. So that's how you do these things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Sir, here. So I have a question here. Here, sir.
A lot of the things that you talked about seem to be about acquisition, HCL, Exxon, and many other companies that you acquired after you got your IPO, and also very, very strong collaborations. So what is it that kind of made these acquisitions successful? What are the kind of building blocks of getting those things right?
Not all of them were successful. Some of them were successful, some of them were not successful. It was a tall task. Because initially the company was very India oriented, Indian oriented. Moment we started buying companies and moment we started to integrate people from all over the world, we started to give non-Indians great positions in the company. And that changed the complete ecosystem. Earlier, when we were in any country, we would have an Indian heading the business. It didn't happen later. We started to take other people into our fold. And multicultural organization development is a very difficult task. It doesn't happen overnight. It's taken us years and years. We're still not perfected it. And I think it's still going on. But that's the change that we made. And that's what's helped us to, sort of integrate them better. The other thing that I want to tell you is that it's not just acquisitions that created the company. The growth that, Dr. Ram Charan talks about. Exponential growth doesn't just happen by acquisition. It also happens by looking at new opportunities and creating new businesses. For example, our infrastructure business was created out of nothing. Okay? Our engineering software business was created out of nothing. Today, HCL is the largest software product company in India and 18th largest in the world. How did we do that? We took a very different view. We went to IBM, spent $1 billion buying their old products. Can you imagine we bought their products like Lotus Notes? Right. Again, an audacious thought. Let's go and buy these products. We'll improve these products, plus we'll get a whole bunch of customers. And that's what we did. So we started to create a software product business. Today, as you look at the world, today when you look at AI, today when you look at automation, it's actually having headwinds for software services. We created a moat against that by becoming a product company, an engineering software company, an infrastructure hardware company. So we are not just dependent on software. So I think those are the kind of decisions that you need to take to grow and to, really grow big. And each and every new market that you create becomes $1 billion market or $2 billion market or $3 billion market.
Yes, sir.
So
these are the last two questions. Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, sir. I'm Ajay Sharma from Team Computers. We are predominantly in the IT services market and doing pretty good in India. But now we are, the idea is to expand to the global market, right? And the challenge which I foresee that in global market like Europe, US and other countries, they do not recognize the new players like us. So what are the key, learnings you want or the experience you want to share where we can also establish our business in these countries or different geographies?
I think don't just depend on services. have some IP, which will help you differentiate. See, because if you are another Me Too company, it'll be very, very tough. But if you go with some specific IP or a product that you've developed around which you offer services, maybe you'll have a much better chance of success. The second thing that I would like to tell you is that the services business is going to face a lot of headwinds. It's not going to be easy. People are not talking about it. But in HCL, they have recognized it. And we are working on, I'm no longer involved, but when I was talking to the CEO, he said that we are putting together some strategies to think this through very deeply and to think how to make AI happen for them rather than losing to AI. So, these kind of things you better watch out because, the whole concept of price, etc., is gone. It's all about better value, better delivery, better quality, etc., etc. India doesn't sell on price anymore. So, therefore, you have to take a very different approach to how you do it and which countries you should go to. Today, you have definitely an advantage going to Europe because Europe hates America in a lot of ways. So, you have some opportunity to sell against American companies.
But just one second, sir. I just missed. So the question was, thank you for answering it. I want to know that how do I recognize? See, okay, I am just clubbing my services with the AI. We have developed that IP. We are already working. Now, how do I establish my name so that the people start working even, right? The one, first deal I need to crack in Europe. How?
Hey, those are very specific ones for which I'll charge you.
On credit.
Sir.
We'll pick it up, okay? Thank you.
I want to know.
Go
this,
ahead,
sir.
please, go.
Sir, my name is Ashish Dakan, and I'm an entrepreneur. I started journey in 2005 with 65 lakhs. Last year, I'm crossing almost 4,000 CRs turnover. So, I'm seeing a lot of resemblance, though the percentage ratio of your entrepreneur journey and mine is very, very small till date. What, difficulty as an entrepreneur I am facing, just similar, if you can just throw some lights on that. Once you are expanding, like from 0 to 3,000, 4,000 CR, and like you have created lots of, HCL hardware, HCL software, and multiple divisions, how to ensure that this entrepreneur gist remain, or that DNA remain, and you don't miss out any of opportunities like my friend was talking about Nokia opportunity or losing into mobile industries opportunity. That if entrepreneurs gist remains, when professionals are managing organizations and the entrepreneurs just taking aside step by steps, and keeping it on the professionals, how to ensure that entrepreneur DNA remain in the organization with the scale of organization, sir?
I think this question was asked of me earlier also, so I've answered that. Basic thing is that when you create that culture in the organization, you need to continue to nurture that culture. And that comes from you as the, the pioneer of that company, the entrepreneur that created the company. So you need to create similar people to you to be able to carry forward that legacy. And that's not so difficult because as long as you have the right people selected in your organization. Like, for example, if you recall, I was talking about how we selected people with need for achievement. And as long as you choose people the right way, you will be successful.
We can continue this. Sorry to stop you. The note, right people. Single, most emphatic criteria, achievement. So when I look at the team and Dr. Chaudhary, the guts and imagination to innovate product, unique, people say fantastic, innovate business model, and innovate in problem solving, $75 million account. That's what the DNA is. Find those people. give them the right opportunities, and nurture them. Sir, we are very grateful to take your time. I'm personally grateful because I have received Christmas card from Mr. Chaudhary every year. Thank you, sir.